Hey, so this is a video in response to Social Simone. I've seen a few of her videos, addressing the people about paying their loans back because the government is threatening and possibly really finna be active in starting to garnishing people's paychecks for their student loans. And she's like combating all the negative commentary that's like saying that this is horrible, this is wrong, and I really believe it's very cruel. And she's just on this side like, oh, you took out the loan, you're supposed to pay. And absolutely there's some truth to what she's saying. There's a lot of truth to what she's saying, and there's a lot of truth to the point she's pointing out. But toward the end of the last video I just watched from her, she was like, what should be in society, she made the point, what should be in society is not reality. But what she is not understanding and not really having sympathy for, and that's her prerogative to not have sympathy for it, is the fact that it's not reality to then force these people who can barely feed themselves to pay back these loans, right? No matter what the situation that they're in, whether they've been making payments and it's literally because of their income, it's an impossible thing to pay back. Literally, the first TikTok she played was a woman who had been paying back for years, and her whole loan principal doubled, right? So literally it's impossible to pay back with the amount that she's getting paid with the job that she's doing. And yes, the greater alternative is that these jobs that we need, social workers, teachers, they need to pay them more, right? That's reality. I mean, that's just common sense, but it's not happening, right? So her whole thing was, what's the alternative? You just don't pay back your loans? Yes. Guess what? If we can barely eat right now, and they start taking things out of your check involuntary, because guess what? That's what happened to me. They did start garnishing my check, and it's the worst feeling in the world. And guess what I did? I left that job. And I'm not saying that's the best way to handle it. It's definitely a way. And it's just so cruel to just immediately initiate these garnishments, especially to people who's been paying. At least if you've been making some type of payment, you have got to have grace for these people. And so what is the alternative? You're going to say, okay, well, we need this amount this month, even though your paycheck is this. Federally, you can't take more than 25% of somebody's paycheck, right? And if all they're making is $50K a year or less, you're not going to be getting the amounts that they're now saying they're going to be requiring from people. You're not going to be getting that. So are you saying now you're going to be taking up to 50 and 75% of people's checks? People won't be able to live anyway. People will have to quit. You examine what the reality is. As somebody who can barely pay what they're paying, no matter what the reason, if they're living above their means or they just have bills and they're by themselves, right? Because you're like, well, why don't people just room with their friends, or why don't people just stay with their parents? The reason that's not realistic is because everybody doesn't have those options. Some people's parents don't have anywhere to stay or are homeless. Some people don't have their parents. Some people parents don't want to give them a handout and won't allow them to live with them. Some, it's so many different situations out here. It just seems that Social Simone, I get what she's trying to do, and I get her message to the youth, to those who's going into these industries to rethink loans and listen to these things and learn from them. But it's like you're having this cold mentality of not caring about the people who are currently in a horrible situation, whether they've been paying back or not. And you're like, well, it's still okay for the loan to come and get their money because, you know, that's just how things work. As if it's not like this huge predatory thing that's really going to hurt society on the back end. Because, yeah, everybody's not struggling. Everybody don't have student loan debts, but a lot of people do. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people do. And amazing for those people who thought about their path, who got these great salaries early in their life. I'm so happy about that, and I'm glad you're shedding a light on that. And yes, I hope people see that part and go into that and find out a way to be more productive than going into, you know, a degree that's not going to pay you well. Absolutely, I want you to rethink what you're doing. But then again, consider the alternative. If nobody's going to take these teacher jobs and these social work jobs because they're not paying enough, we don't have nobody to teach our kids. And so now we don't have teachers. And so now what? Where are we sending our kids? You gotta look at the bigger picture. It's more realistic to fight this and be mad about them trying to just automatically take all these things from people, hard-working people, especially those who have been paying back what they can. It's more realistic to fight that and to contest that than to be like, oh, well, get another job. Oh, well, find some other way to make money. Oh, like, that is a lot less realistic than sitting here and complaining and being like, well, I guess I'm just not going to work. And if you have a whole mass of people leaving work now, the unemployment rate is up, it's going to hurt the economy in a large way, no matter what. And now you're just going to have all these unemployed people in super debt because they're afraid to get a job anywhere because you're going to be taking from them what they don't even have. They can't even feed themselves. It's just not practical. That's what this whole Trump administration is built on. Things that sound good, but they are not practical, and it's going to fail. But, you know, we'll just see what happens. And I'm saying, like, I don't even got nothing against Social Simone. Like, I think she is putting good ideologies to consider, especially for people who are just getting into trying to get into college. This is good information. Find something that really pays you, okay? But I don't think it's too much good information to tell people to abandon trying to be a teacher, you know, because we want people who care about our kids to be taking care of our kids. And this should change a lot of things. We should be paying teachers more. We should be, especially social workers, more. Especially, you see that why that girl went into social work, because she was abused in a situation, and we need more social workers to save children from things like that. Like, to have a cold face toward that as if, oh, well, it doesn't matter, that was your passion and you're trying to save other kids from, you know, traumatizing things that can hurt their lives forever. Who cares about that? You should have tried to make more money. It's crazy. You can have that opinion and be that cold because, you know, the loan people want their money back. But girl, it just sounds real heartless. That's all I'm saying. So I just wanted to say those things. Have a good day. Just a quick addition. Yes, baby, we are speaking French. We are saying we because we are talking about the people that the government and this new whatever they're doing is going to be targeting. We the people who have student loans, who have been making payments that we can afford and or not making payments at all, that the government is about to come at our neck hard. Yeah, we, us, them. You not in that. Of course you're not in that, because amazingly you're able to, you know, find another avenue, which I think everybody should consider other avenues to fund their college if they can't pay for it, like going to something like the Army, which is an amazing profession, that's going to pay for your school. There's other places that will pay for your school. Go somewhere that'll pay for your school. This is an amazing option. And there are so many things there are so many other alternatives than having to take out loans. absolutely, you should always consider the alternative and taking out a loan. But that financial literacy was just not available for many of us that just did it because everybody else was doing it. And that's the way to get into college. And you've just been told your whole life that you got to go to college to become a productive member of society. Most young kids are just like, okay, that's what you said. Cool, that's what I'm going to do. Like, most kids are not going to be like, well, hold on, let me see, where is this money coming from? Like, this does not where a 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 18-year-old mind, most of their minds are not at. And yes, it would be different if we had some financial literacy, classes in high school. It would be different if society geared us to think differently about money situations, but they don't. It's a trap. They don't. You just want to please your parents, most likely, and you want to just, okay, so I got to go to college because that's what everybody else does, and I want to break the original courses and have a degree, because a lot of these jobs are requiring degrees. Like, you don't even get a lot of these jobs unless you have a degree. That part, like, you can talk about other avenues all day and making your way without a degree, which is definitely possible, but it's extremely hard, and it's becoming harder because you do need a degree to get into a lot of these especially the high paying jobs. And then on top of that, you need experience, so then you need to find a place that actually take a chance on you even when you get your degree, and sometimes that's extremely difficult to find. So it's just like, yeah, you actually do need a degree for some of these things for you to even be considered and to get the higher paying job. So that's a thing, right? So just in your mind as a kid, your parents are telling you this, you're just gonna go and you're not gonna think about it. And that's what happened to most of us who are sitting here in this debt. And yes, it sucks. And yes, it's a we, because we could just mean two people. So it's hundreds and millions of people right now. So are you like, who is we? Yeah, it's not you. We get that, girl. You did the right thing. Kudos to you. It's not you. It's not many other people who did it, who found other ways and don't have any student loan debt. It is not them or you, and we are glad about that. But you ain't got to point out, oh, why y'all keep saying we? Ain't nobody talking about you. Ain't nobody talking about you. So why you worried about us saying we? Because there is a we, because there's more than two people. Just wanted to say that too. I also want to note that at the end of the video, toward the very, very end, it's just like, I don't know what to really call how she's framing this situation. It's like, because she's not suffering because she did it the right way, right? She can't see the gravity of what people are talking about. But the last clip she played, one of the last clips she played, was of the young lady who had been paying for 10 years, paid over only had $50,000 worth of debt, paid over $25,000 back, and still owed $47,000. At some point, you're not like, oh, this is just a horrible decision, and you're in it, and it just sucks. Like, no. At some point, we're like, no, bro, that is just almost on a level of slavery. That is just almost on a level of, like, it's just, like, not right. Like, somebody literally been paying this back. You want your money back. I'm giving it back to you. I've been consistent, and I'm halfway there. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is interest compounding like this? To where I've been paying 200. Okay, let's do simple math. 200 times 10. 2,000, right? And then 2,400 for 10 years. $2,400 I'm giving back for 10 years. And that's not enough to satiate the interest to where it's like I've only paid $3,000. That's like that's like Jim Crow, bro. That's like the audacity of this being able to happen. It's like, I wish everybody who was paying didn't pay nothing. If that's how it's compiling, they should have kept deferring every year. Because why am I paying you? Because if she would have literally just put that in a savings account, if I know they're coming, and then now at this point offered 20, they would have took it. They would have wiped out half her loan without an issue. So they should do that if she calls, but they ain't finna do that. That's crazy. That's unacceptable. And that's why we need to more so rally against this and get, reasonable paybacks. Interest to stop altogether, because we already ain't been paying these thousands. So why are you putting interest on it? At this point, you need to cut the interest down so that's the actual amount that can be paid, and work with people with how much they're making and ask them for that amount, the little amount they can, and let that be it. And they're just paying toward that, and they'll figure out how to add more to it. But when you add in more, when you got that situation, it's like the more you add to it, it doesn't matter. Unless you hit a lick and become a millionaire, can just wipe it all out. There's no way you can wipe out these loans in a realistic way with a realistic wage of today. That's unacceptable. We need to protest. Don't nobody pay nothing back. Protest. Everybody that they garnished even one time, everybody needs to leave their job and see what happens. They might rethink some stuff. They just might. That's what I'm saying.